The work environment here is going to be pretty different from what you're used to, Keiichi. I just worry you might feel like this isn't what you signed up for.
Keiichi, why are you hiding what you're really capable of?
Huh?
I'm Keiichi Sato. Today's the big interview at a company called Tokimeki Interior. That concludes my self-introduction.
Thank you. I'm Yasushi Matoba, head of the department. There's just one thing that caught my attention. After graduating from a vocational school, you worked at a local construction firm, correct?
Yes.
Most of our employees joined after graduating from university or transferred from major companies. The work environment here is going to be pretty different from what you're used to, Keiichi.
Is that going to be a problem?
Not exactly, but I just worry you might feel like this isn't what you signed up for.
The environment may be different, but I studied interior design and furniture at school. And at the construction firm, I gained hands-on experience in eco-friendly materials and restoration techniques. So I believe I can contribute.
But you know, we don't actually do any hands-on work in-house.
Keiichi?
Yes? So that's her, Noa Tsumugi, the CEO herself.
Why are you hiding what you're really capable of?
Huh?
The construction firm you worked at, it's a long-standing company that dates all the way back to the Edo period, right? I've heard it's tough just getting hired, let alone keeping up once you're in with all those master craftsmen.
Yes, that's true. I didn't realize you were familiar with that.
Also, your restoration work has a solid reputation, even among seasoned craftsmen. You've even received awards for it, haven't you?
Wait, is he that talented?
I'm honored you know about it. Actually, I really did enjoy the work. Being a craftsman was fulfilling. But I've always felt this kind of skill shouldn't just belong to one person. That's why I wanted to work on something bigger and train the next generation, pass it on. That's what led me to apply here at a major company like Tokimeki Interior. And I didn't mention all that up front because I didn't want to just land a job based on name recognition.
I see.
Still, furniture restoration, huh? We're a company that sells new furniture, you know.
That's true, but when you keep churning out furniture and selling it over and over, problems start piling up.
You mean the waste problem, scrap materials and the furniture itself ending up in landfills.
Exactly. That's why I believe it's even more important for a major company like ours to take sustainability seriously.
We do offer a recycling service when customers replace their old furniture, don't we?
We do, but to be honest, most of today's low-cost furniture can't even be reused, even if people want to recycle it. Yasushi, as head of the department, I'm sure you've heard those kinds of complaints, haven't you?
Well, I mean, yes, I've heard a few.
And that's why there's a lot we'd like to learn from you, Keiichi, as a restoration expert.
Huh?
Let's work together and change the future of furniture.
I appreciate it. Later. Looking forward to working with you starting today.
First, you'll be going through internal training.
Yes, ma'am.
I know you've already got a solid background in furniture, but I want you to learn how our products are made, what materials we use, how we assemble things, and from there, figure out what techniques might apply to restoration work going forward.
Right. If people are going to buy something, we want it to last.
Keiichi, there's no need to push yourself too hard right off the bat.
Huh?
If you start modifying products that are already selling well, it might hurt sales. Restoration's important, sure, but first I want you to study what kind of products are actually hits in the market.
Okay.
Wait, Keiichi is not going to be involved in new product planning.
Wait, what do you mean?
Just like we talked about during his interview, we're bringing him on specifically for his expertise in restoration. That's the part we're focusing on.
Right, but Tokimeki Interior is a furniture retail company, isn't it? You've talked about restoration, but we're not simply a handyman service from around the block.
Maybe so, but remember what I said about how the furniture industry generates a massive amount of waste? In a time where recycling and sustainability are becoming the norm, we need to rethink whether constantly churning out new products is really the right path forward.
Back when I was with the construction firm, we put a lot of thought into how to reduce scrap material too.
So, Noah, are you saying you don't intend to create any new products?
That's not it. We still develop new furniture and decor that suit the times, like height-adjustable desks or gaming chairs. Things no one needed in the past but are in demand today. However, they'll be made to order, so we can avoid generating unnecessary waste.
But if customers can't get what they want right away, won't they just go somewhere else?
We're going to create original pieces that people are willing to wait for.
That sounds financially risky, don't you think?
Not if we don't carry excess stock. We can cut costs by letting go of expensive warehouse contracts. Also,
There's more?
those old Japanese chests, tansu, right? They were made from top quality wood and built to last, correct? I've heard they can last for 3 generations or more.
That's true. High-quality Japanese chests made from Paulownia wood can last over 100 years, if you take care of them properly. Clean the wood and repair any damage. I've restored pieces from the Taisho and early Showa era many times.
They're beautiful, aren't they? We're going to start a whole new business line, collecting old furniture, restoring it, and selling it as antiques.
There's a lot of high-quality furniture across Japan that would otherwise just get thrown out.
Exactly! By repurposing those, we reduced waste, and we don't have to keep producing unnecessary furniture.
No extra junk gets created.
Right on!
This is exactly the kind of work I've always dreamed of doing.
Well, even so.
Yasushi, I understand your worries too. It makes sense that as the head of the department you'd be concerned about the company. But that's precisely why a major interior brand like ours should be leading the charge, to change the industry from the ground up.
I think it's a fantastic initiative.
Thank you. Keiichi, I'd like you to focus on furniture restoration and help build a system that allows us to produce antique furniture in-house.
Noah, if I may, I just can't picture this working out. This company has always grown by selling products that make people's lives easier. I really have to disagree with this sudden change in direction.
That's fair. You're not wrong, Yasushi.
Wait, really?
The board had a lot to say about it too.
Exactly. We don't even know if there's a market for antique furniture.
That's why we're not launching it as a full-blown business just yet. We'll begin as a project. Test the waters first.
I see. That way, we can gather data on demand and customer behavior.
Yasushi, I'd like you to stay focused on developing new products as before.
Fine by me. I'll bring in as many sales as I can while we're at it.
And then, a few months later, after I finished my training and began moving the antique furniture project forward,
At the Interior Expo the other day, the antique furniture collection you restored got a lot of buzz, Keiichi.
yes, we've already received orders from all over.
That's amazing.
We got requests from well-known cafes and a kimono shop in Ginza too.
Wait, those are both really well-known places.
They're even planning to display our antique furniture catalogs in store. I've already asked the editorial team to start working on the design.
It's starting to feel like a real business already. This is so exciting.
It really is. Everyone who worked on it, both the staff and the craftsmen, was thrilled. However,
Keiichi, you look a little troubled.
Noah, actually, the antique furniture orders are coming in strong, but we've received more requests than we were prepared for, and now we're short on skilled craftsmen.
Are customers willing to wait for their pieces?
They are, but at this rate, it's going to be hard to scale this into a full-fledged business.
True. With antiques, mass production is nearly impossible.
Right. I've been trying to run training sessions in-house and reach out to construction firms and workshops, but
Given that this type of craftsmanship hasn't been popular for a long time, I bet it's been challenging.
yeah.
Then maybe turning antique furniture into a main business line isn't realistic.
Yasushi.
There's a market for antique and retro aesthetics. Yui, like you mentioned earlier, classic cafes, for instance. They're seen as stylish now precisely because they're so rare. But when it comes to furniture,
We're not trying to turn antique furniture into a trend or a fashion statement.
if people really wanted antique furniture, wouldn't there already be tons of companies selling it? But that's not the reality. So we can't support the idea of making products that don't yield any income. And in the end, no one stuck around long enough to pass the craft on. That's the reality, isn't it?
You're not wrong, Yasushi. You make a fair point. But back when I was at the construction firm, there were people who came specifically to train in antique restoration. If antique furniture became more mainstream, both the number of people who want it and those who want to make it would grow. What Yui and I are trying to do now is lay the groundwork to make that happen.
Keiichi.
I see. Still, we're not running a charity here.
Of course not. And I never treat this like some side project or hobby.
Then I'll look forward to hearing the results at the next executive meeting. And I fully intend to deliver good news.
Then, on the day of the meeting,
The Grow With You bed I launched, it's been a huge hit.
People used to think you had to buy a new bed every time your child grew. So this really was a game changer.
Yes, it's a product that clearly met a real market need.
I was actually thinking of getting one for my kid too.
I'm flattered to hear that. By the way, how is your antique furniture project coming along, Noah?
Thanks to the positive response at the recent expo, we've been receiving a steady stream of orders. Roughly, how much revenue are you expecting? We do have the orders, but, well...
It still seems like they're still struggling to mass produce at the moment.
Definitely. When it comes to antique furniture, you must align the right materials and do a significant amount of handcrafting. We're currently working on bringing in more craftsmen, but...
After all, furniture goes in and out of fashion. If people have to wait too long, a lot of them will lose interest. Noah, I understand your vision, but maybe it's time to wrap up the antique project.
I understand.
Wait, what?
If production continues to stall, we may have to consider pulling the plug.
Yes, I agree.
However, regarding the development of your new product line, Yasushi, I want to make it clear that reducing industrial waste must remain a top priority. The antique furniture project was launched precisely to address the excess waste to the interior industry. Please don't lose sight of that bigger picture as we move forward.
I understand.
And congrats again on the bed's success. That said, I am concerned about the heavy use of low-grade plywood and plastic materials, so I'd like you to explore recycling options. And going forward, develop products with the environment more firmly in mind.
Yes, of course.
Although I tried to act tough, maybe turning antique furniture into a real business is just too hard. Maybe it's time to give up.
Noah.
Keiichi? What's going on?
I got a call from my old workplace this morning, a construction firm, and I just stopped by. Turns out, they already knew about Tokimeki's interior antique furniture project. They said they're willing to help us with restoration and collecting vintage pieces from around the country.
Wait, seriously? That sounds like a full-on partnership.
Yes, and they said we're free to use their name. That firm has trained craftsmen all over Japan, so they're willing to reach out and rally support in each region. Which means we won't have to source old furniture from all over the country ourselves, and that'll save us a ton in costs.
Is it even right for us to get this lucky?
Of course, the owner of the construction firm said he supports what you're trying to do, change the industry. So he wants to work together to cut down on waste and build something better.
I need to go pay them a visit right away. By the way, Keiichi, you didn't pitch this to your old company yourself, did you?
No, I figured if I asked, they'd be obligated to say yes. I didn't want them backing it just because of me. I wanted them to believe in the antique furniture project.
Just like during our interview, huh?
And so, the project started to really take off. Meanwhile, over in Yasushi's new product development team...
Yasushi, we've got another complaint.
Another one? What now?
Apparently the bed broke right after they assembled it and laid down on it.
You've gotta be kidding me.
What do you mean we're getting flooded with returns?
Oh, well, it seems the beds are breaking far too easily.
What about the in-house testing results?
There weren't any issues during testing, but it seems if the placement isn't just right, the bed loses stability.
As for the plywood used in the frame...
I had concerns about that too.
It's cheap and lightweight, sure, but the downside is that it's weak in both strength and water resistance. Since it's made from compressed wood chips, it deteriorates quickly. In certain conditions, it can break down in no time.
No way!
Yasushi, why did you choose that material?
If something lasts too long, people stop buying replacements. And if that happens, what do you think happens to the company's revenue?
Still...
Besides, people's tastes change. Even with beds, I figured it was better to make them affordable and easy to replace.
So you cut every corner you could to lower the cost, and ended up with a low-quality product.
Yasushi, do you realize what that led to? We're stuck with massive stockpiles and a mountain of returned items. Now that people know it breaks easily, we can't even reuse the materials in other products. And worst of all, our company's reputation has taken a serious hit.
I didn't think it'd break this easily.
That's exactly why I started the antique furniture project. And the customers who received our pieces so far have been thrilled. Sure, maybe they'll only buy one piece and be done. But if people start to see our brand as something that lasts, a company that builds things that don't break, they'll come back for more, or recommend us to the people who matter to them. And that's how our reputation grows, how our business thrives.
Right.
Please, think not just about the company's sales, but also about the people who use our products, and the impact on the environment.
Yes.
After that, the antique furniture line continued to grow steadily in sales. It was no longer just a project. It became a full-fledged business with its own budget and staff assignments. As for Yasushi, who had racked up major losses and contributed to product waste, he stepped down and resigned, taking responsibility.
Darn it! This cheap piece of junk broke again. Ugh.
And as for me,
I love a solid wood dining table.
hope we find a good one.
Keiichi, you'd better make me the most amazing antique table ever.
Of course. Enjoyed the video?
Then smash that like button and subscribe.